Hello everyone. So finally I was able to go to the theaters and watch Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So this one is rated PG-13, comes in at 2 hours and 7 minutes long, directed by Stephen Caple Jr. and stars Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. Of course, Peter Cullen is back as the voice of Optimus Prime. As always, I wouldn't want it any other way. Quite a big voice cast too, from names like Pete Davidson, Michelle Yeoh, Ron Perlman coming to voice again a lot of the just Cybertronians we know within this movie. So yes, without further ado, let me get into my review for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So this movie takes place about 10-ish years, it seems like, after the events of Bumblebee, and it follows again to the events that transpired in Bumblebee, so retconning some of the things that the Michael Bay universe did. And even though it never formally says it or does it, I do feel like these are just so within its own world, and again, too, taking from the original source material that the Transformers cartoons kind of did, that it's really hard to say that these two movies are within the Michael Bay verse, even though they never distinctly say that they're not. It is just a very different style that I have really come to love from the Bumblebee movies to this one, Rise of the Beast here. But the IMDb synopsis for this film is: during the 90s, a new faction of Transformers, the Maximals, so very excited that they're in this, join the Autobots as allies in the battle for Earth. So this does pull a lot of things, and again too does set up Beast Wars that we know from the original cartoon from the 90s that the Transformers did. So very excited. I loved watching that show as a kid. It's one of my introductions to Transformers actually too, was again to learn all about the Maximals. So again too, it pulls from some of the early works of that stories in a few ways. But the main threats, of course, within this movie is Unicron. I've been very excited to see how they're going to revamp Unicron again too. From the Michael Bay universe, they made Unicron Earth, as opposed to, again, a planet-eating, almost like Galactus Transformer. And now, again, too, he's not planet Earth anymore. He's his own being who's going around consuming Earth. And of course, he has his heralds within this, which was very cool to see. I'm glad that they kept, again, to that bit of lore with intact. So it's up to, of course, the Autobots that we know, led by Optimus Prime. You got Bumblebee in there. You have some new supporting members too within the crew, and they're going up against Unicron and his army, and they join forces with the Maximals in order to, again, to save Earth and make certain Unicron doesn't come down and consume our planet. So the stakes are very high because the entire world is at stake within this. And of course, too, Anthony Ramos plays a character who's, again, too, just struggling to basically keep his family together. They're struggling within New York, and you got Dominique Fishback, who plays a character who she's a curator in a museum who kind of stumbles upon this lost history. She's trying to figure out where these artifacts come from, and they're related to the Maximals. So again, so they get sucked into this battle between factions and joining between factions to make certain that Earth comes safe. So again, so this movie is very simple in terms of its premise, its plot, how events transpire, but it is a ton of fun. Again, so I think if you really like the Bumblebee atmosphere of things, it does take that more lighthearted tone in a lot of ways, where they mix a lot of humor, a lot of just really happy things. And again, that pulls a lot from the original animated series in terms of its heart, its goals about leadership, in terms of its storytelling. It's a really fun movie. Again, too, while it's so simple, there's a lot of fun to be had and a lot of amazing action to be seen within this movie. Again, too, there are parts where I found the beginning of this movie does lag a little bit after the initial intro, which shows off our introduction to the Maximals. And again, so there's parts in the middle that I found a little boring, just dragged on a little too long. But when the action really kicks in and really kind of drives the storytelling within this, think of it as the Mad Max, where the action kind of drives the storytelling. That's what this movie does with it. It really picks up and does a lot of really cool things that I really enjoyed. And again, so the action is an absolute spectacle to behold. You don't have any of that blood and guts mixed with oil that the Michael Bay films did, but this movie is a lot more brutal than I think Bumblebee was in a lot of ways, where the you have your spine rips, you have your limb pulling off, you have like the guns just absolutely ripping like other Transformers shoulders completely off. It is still brutal in a lot of ways, but not, again, to that weird blood oil thing that Michael Bay did. But it's very stylized. It's very cool. and still very very well directed. There's one scene in particular too that's about I want to say a 45 seconds long one shot take of again to the final battle. That's really really cool, and just the way that the camera flies through and shows off all of these amazing angles and all of our heroes doing amazing stuff is really really cool. There's an amazing sequence with Bumblebee, of course, too, that I don't want to say when it takes place within the movie, but it's an absolutely amazing scene. Again, too, they shot on location in a lot of ways. So a lot of the set design, whether it be in New York or whether it be again too in South America when they film in there, it's a beautiful film to look at from a CGI perspective. And again, too, just a on sites shooting location. They did a lot of really cool things, and it's a really, really well directed film. You get to see the whole action. Of course, that's what a lot of people are here for. Transformers movies have always had stellar action. This movie definitely takes suit from that. It can get a little corny and cheesy sometimes in the dialogue, very predictable. I found a lot of the jokes were a little too bathroom humor for me in a lot of ways, and again too, that's kind of took my excitement down. But when they pulled things into the action, things about again too the Transformers fighting each other, that's when I really really got invested. I thought Anthony Ramos was a really really good addition. I liked his character. I thought he was funny, had a good story, had a good heart, and I can't wait to see more from him within this too. So again too, even though things are really really simple and things drag, it is a very very fun movie. There is so there is a post-credit scene that I do recommend sticking around after forward, but the ending of this movie I thought was absolutely amazing. And they've been talking about something that they want to do with the Transformers universe for so many years now, and they're finally doing it. It really took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting them to do it, but it's definitely awesome. The end of this movie is awesome. Again, too, from the final battle to this certain sequence that I'm talking about, it's really really good. So definitely don't leave the movie after the again to final battle sequence, because there's something absolutely amazing and really really cool that they do, that I'm really excited to see what they do going forward for again to the Transformers movies and what they set up within this sequence. So definitely stick around for that. It's really really fun. So again, to this movie does suffer a little bit from not diving into the human characters a whole lot, not diving into a lot of the side characters, side Autobots, side Maximals. You just kind of know them by name and you see them do a couple cool things, but you don't really get to know and learn a lot about it. And they're just there to do things in the background. So again, too, the movie is short, and I feel like they could have fit a little more in. But this again, too, it's very very fun from start to finish in so many ways. It has a lot of hearts. I really like again to the style that Travis Knight and Stephen Caple Jr. have kind of set forward for these new era of Transformers movies. I think it's been really, really fun. And really, with everything taken together, I'm going to have to give Transformers Rise of the Beast a 7 out of 10. I had a lot of fun with it. Again, too, if you really like the Bumblebee style, you'll like this a lot. If you like the Michael Bay Transformers, there's a lot of really cool, awesome action within you there, and a lot of cool world building that they do that doesn't go down that whole government conspiracy thing that Michael Bay was doing. Is definitely a better told story that's not convoluted. It's very easy and simple to follow. And again, too, has its cons, has its pros, but for the most part, it's very, very fun to watch and definitely an easy movie to watch from start to finish. I don't think you need to go to the theaters to see it, even though again too the CGI and the on-site locations are really really cool, but it's definitely worth a watch if you love Transformers or you just want an awesome action movie to watch. So please in the comments down below let me know what you thought of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and of course if you like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up. You can check out everything I do on this channel through a playlist down below, and I'll link some up top here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing, turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. And of course if you check out the description of this video and my channel bio, there's a link to the Medium Mountain, which is my Discord where I talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. You can have to join that amazing community. I'm making even more amazing than this already. And as some of you may have noticed, background's a little empty. I do apologize for it, and it's going to look a little messy in here, a little barren for the next little while. Unfortunately, these posters are going to come down. But what this means is in the next few months, lots of change is going to be happening within my life. I'm going to get a little busy. I'm very, very sorry if I fall behind on my reviews and all these things, but lots of really, really amazing changes are happening within my life that are going to, again, to change the background that you see a little bit, but we're all eventually going to get it back in, design it in really, really cool ways. And yeah, I just can't wait for you to see the final products when we again to get everything all resorted here. So yes, just awesome guys. Can't wait for you see these movies that I'm reviewing. Can't wait to get back into them and see them all, and I can't wait for you to see the final products when I kind of get things resorted out. So yes, just awesome, guys.